Have you ever thought about the slice of toast you had for breakfast? Or the sandwich you packed for lunch? It seems so simple, so ordinary. But what if I told you that this humble food, bread, is one of the most important inventions in human history? What if I told you that without bread, our modern world, our cities, our technology, none of it might exist? Today, we're going on a journey back in time, tens of thousands of years, to uncover the incredible story of how bread didn't just feed us, but actually built our civilization. It all starts long before bakeries and sliced loaves. Imagine the world about 30,000 years ago. Our ancestors were hunter-gatherers, constantly on the move, following herds of animals and searching for edible plants. Life was tough and uncertain. They gathered wild grains, sure, but eating them was a hassle. They were hard, difficult to digest. So, what did they do? Archaeologists have found ancient grinding stones from this era. This suggests that early humans were pounding these grains, mixing them with water to create a simple porridge or a flat, cracker-like bread cooked on hot stones. This wasn't the fluffy bread we know today, but it was a game changer. It was a concentrated source of calories, a storable form of energy that was easier to carry and digest than raw grains. It was one of the very first processed foods. But the real revolution came much later, around 12,000 years ago, in a region we now call the Fertile Crescent in the Middle East. This is where something truly remarkable happened. Instead of just gathering wild grains, people started to deliberately plant and cultivate them. This is the dawn of agriculture. Why did they do this? The leading theory is that they wanted a more reliable source of grain for, you guessed it, making bread. Think about the implications. Agriculture meant people had to stay in one place to tend their crops. They had to settle down. And so, the first permanent villages were born. These weren't just a collection of huts. They were communities built around the cultivation of wheat and barley. The nomadic lifestyle that had defined humanity for millennia began to fade away, replaced by a settled existence. And the centerpiece of this new life? The grain, the flour, and the daily bread. With permanent settlements came new challenges and new innovations. People needed ways to store their grain surplus for the lean months. This led to the development of pottery and granaries. They needed to keep track of who owned which plot of land and how much grain was harvested. This necessity, believe it or not, may have been the very seed that sprouted into writing and mathematics. The earliest known writing systems, like cuneiform in Mesopotamia, were often used to record agricultural transactions, sacks of grain, loaves of bread, and allotments of beer, which is basically liquid bread. Civilization was starting to take shape, and bread was at its very core. In ancient Egypt, bread wasn't just food. It was a form of currency. Workers building the Great Pyramids weren't paid in gold coins. They were paid in bread and beer. A standard daily wage could be 3 or 4 loaves of bread. Bread was so central to their society that they developed over 50 different types. They even pioneered the use of yeast, discovering that if they let their dough sit for a while, it would rise, creating a lighter, softer loaf. This was a major culinary breakthrough, and the Egyptians were so famous for it that the Romans later nicknamed them the bread eaters. Speaking of the Romans, they took bread to a whole new level. As the Roman Empire grew, feeding its massive population, and especially its army, became a top priority. The state controlled the grain supply through a system called the annona. They imported vast quantities of wheat from their provinces, like Egypt and North Africa, to Rome. To keep the populace happy and prevent riots, they instituted the famous policy of bread and circuses, distributing free grain or bread to the citizens. The Romans also industrialized bread making. They built massive state-run bakeries with huge grinding mills, often powered by animals, and large ovens that could produce thousands of loaves a day. Being a baker, or ****, became a respected and regulated profession. Bread was no longer just a household staple. It was a tool of statecraft and a symbol of Roman power and engineering. After the fall of the Roman Empire, Europe entered the Middle Ages. The centralized baking systems collapsed, and bread-making returned to being a more local, feudal affair. The type of bread you ate became a clear indicator of your social status. The wealthy lords and clergy ate fine, white bread made from sifted wheat flour. The peasants, on the other hand, ate dark, heavy bread made from whatever grains they could grow or find: barley, oats, rye. This bread, often called trencher bread, was so dense that stale loaves were sometimes used as plates. You'd place your meat and vegetables on the bread, and after the meal, you might eat the sauce-soaked plate or give it to the poor. The phrase upper crust literally comes from this era, referring to the more desirable top part of the loaf that was given to the most important people at the table. The story of bread is also a story of technological progress. The invention of the watermill and windmill during the Middle Ages revolutionized grain processing, making it possible to grind flour more efficiently and on a larger scale. This slowly led to the resurgence of commercial baking. Guilds of bakers formed in the growing towns and cities, regulating the quality and price of bread to protect consumers. Bread was so vital that laws against bakers who cheated their customers were incredibly strict. Then came the Industrial Revolution. In the 19th century, everything changed again. The invention of the steam engine powered new, massive mills. Steel roller mills replaced stone grinding wheels, allowing for the mass production of fine, white flour on an unprecedented scale. Suddenly, white bread, once a luxury for the rich, became affordable for the working class. But this came at a cost. The new milling process stripped away the bran and germ, removing much of the fiber and nutrients. The 20th century brought even more changes. In 1928, the automatic bread slicer was invented, and with it, the pre-packaged, pre-sliced loaf that dominates supermarket shelves today. This was hailed as a miracle of modern convenience. During World War II, governments in the UK and the US started enriching white bread with vitamins and minerals like iron and niacin to combat nutritional deficiencies in the population. This standardized industrial loaf became a symbol of modernity and abundance. So, from a simple paste cooked on a rock to the engine of civilization, the story of bread is the story of us. It prompted us to settle down, invent agriculture, develop writing, build empires, and innovate technologically. Every time you see a loaf of bread, remember that you're looking at 30,000 years of human history. It's a testament to our ingenuity and our ability to transform the world around us, all starting with a few simple grains. It's so much more than just food. It's the foundation upon which our world was built. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this slice of history fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the everyday things that shaped our world. Let me know in the comments what your favorite type of bread is. See you next time.